know how much fun it is to some. So I will back up, just to share a little bit of our own journey together. When Winsome and Jason and I were all fortunate enough to win our nominations, the first thing we did was pray together. And then we committed that we were going to run together, we were going to work together, we were going to serve together, and we were going to transform the Commonwealth of Virginia together. And I just want to thank you.
Thank you.
You are going to be an amazing governor for the Commonwealth. So the Lieutenant Governor shared a little bit about why this seat is so important. You see, so many times we have very clear ideas of what needs to happen. For example, the sheriff and I firmly believe, because we stood together yesterday and presented it, that when there is a violent criminal who is illegally in this country and they sit in a Fairfax County jail, Fairfax County must cooperate with ICE so that that person is sent home with a one-way ticket. That's not bravado, that's common sense. That is exactly what we're supposed to do as those that were elected to work for you, is to work to keep you safe. And yet, the other side believes that they should put criminals ahead of victims. Folks who are not citizens and criminals ahead of American citizens who are trying to live faithful, dutiful lives as parents, as community members, and yet find themselves attacked on a jogging trail, run over in the street by your own car when it's been carjacked, literally assaulted in a way that, as a parent, I cannot imagine. This is just one example of the daily battles that we have in order to push Virginia to what we know Virginia should and must be, which is the very best place to live and work and raise a family. And that's exactly what Virginia has become, my friends. But it all really started here in Loudoun County. And to my started a lot of it. Because the very beginning of the real awakening around Virginia, the awakening of the spirit of Virginia, a spirit that had gone to sleep, because for some reasons Virginians all of a sudden felt like our voices were stifled and no one could do anything about it, where Loudoun County stood up and said, no, this is a land that has a government that's supposed to work for us. We don't work for government. This is a nation that was founded on a basic principle that we are all formed in the image of God, and as so we are endowed with certain unalienable rights, and among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And therefore we must have a voice. And Tumai found not only her voice, but enabled voices for so many parents to resonate a movement that parents matter. And that movement swept across the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that movement swept across our nation. And I want to remind everybody where we were in 2021. In 2021, we saw a Commonwealth that had single government, single party government, and it dragged us to a place we couldn't recognize. And the nation was experiencing the same phenomenon. A nation that was once again being dragged someplace we couldn't recognize her. And at the heart of the grassroots movement were parents. Parents who believed a very simple truth, that there's a fundamental right to make decisions for your child, your child's upbringing, your child's education, and your child's health. I want to thank you because you inspired so many people. And I do fundamentally believe that it was on that wave of Parents Matter that Jason Miyares became our Attorney General, and that Winsome Sears became our Lieutenant Governor, and I was fortunate enough to be hired as your governor. We find ourselves again in a moment where that same voice in Loudoun County needs to be heard. And I have seen one thing in Loudoun County, that when the voice needs to be heard, it can be heard at the ballot box. Mike Chapman has been elected sheriff of Loudoun County time and time again because Loudoun County knows that he will look out for Loudoun County citizens' best interest. He will stand in the breach. He will make the statement that needs to be made. He will stand for your safety. He will protect your children. He will make sure that when there's a drug overdose in a high school that parents know. And that's why Loudoun County trusts Mike Chapman. And so now we stand here with a special election. A special election for a Senate seat that would normally be held by a Democrat. But special elections are called special for a reason. They're unique. It happens quickly. Those that care the most decide. Those that work that sprint the hardest impact the outcome. And all of a sudden, a seat that might not be ours can be. It starts with a great candidate. And Tumai has stepped forward and said, "Send me." What a statement. At a time when there is nothing but vitriol in the world of politics, and I know that the Lieutenant Governor doesn't know anything about that. At a time when everybody is looking for a reason to say something nasty from the other side, Tumai and her family has stepped in. I want to thank you, and I want to thank your family. But not only does she bring that support, she brings her faith, which is where it all starts, and she brings an experience that uniquely has prepared her for this moment. An experience where, with an undergraduate degree and a master's degree from George Mason, she decided she wanted to teach. She wanted to be in this world of Parents Matter and understand that it is when parents and teachers collaborate together and parents have full transparency with what's happening in their children's lives, the children can thrive. And yes, I know that we have some high school students amongst us, but when cell phones are out of the classroom, but she also knows what it means for a community to grow. Because as a small business owner with her partner, and she understands what it means, candidly, to sign the front of the check and not just the back. To be responsible for employees, recognizing that every time you hire someone, you hire a family. Every time you take on the responsibility of an employee, you take on the responsibility of their well-being. And that is a very different understanding. And so when we have a Commonwealth that for 8 straight years saw no job growth, for 10 straight years saw more people moving away from the Commonwealth of Virginia than to the Commonwealth of Virginia from the other 49 states, a Commonwealth that was piling regulations on business, and in 2021 saw 23,000 small businesses shutter. That is not a Commonwealth of opportunity. That is a Commonwealth that is encouraging evacuation. And today, in 2024, we see a different Commonwealth. A Commonwealth where we have streamlined 50,000 regulations that have translated into $1.4 billion of savings every year to individuals and to businesses. A Commonwealth that now knows that we have to be business first in order to lead. And I was very pleased that CNBC recognized this past Sunday. A Commonwealth today where there are more people working than ever in the history of Virginia. More people employed who have heard those magic words of "you are hired." Who have employers who have taken on the responsibility, just like the two of you have, to say, "Come be part of our family and live a dream." And yes, I just received this data this morning that for the first time in 10 years, more people have moved to Virginia than have moved away, making Virginia. All right. And I haven't called them yet, but Virginia went from 41st in the nation in net migration to 9th. Whoa. Ahead of Tennessee. So I will call my friend Governor Bill Lee, who is an incredibly faithful, wonderful governor, and just remind him that it is a competition and we happen to be winning. But this understanding of what it means to stand for parents and education, this understanding of what it means to streamline regulations, to serve the people that work with you, to build a small business, and then finally recognizing that it is the safety of those that live in these communities that is our highest responsibility. That is why Tumai is going to be an amazing senator. And that's why she's running. Now, my friends, what happens in these special elections is swift. And you heard the Lieutenant Governor talk about knocking on doors and donating. And so I'm going to be very repetitive. One, thank you for donating. If you have not, please do. Because every dollar that you donate will literally change this election. Why? Because there's no time for TV commercials. There is no time for elaborate marketing schemes. This is a race. This is a race to get literature in people's hands. This is a race to literally get people knocking on doors so that they can explain why Tumai is the right candidate and why we need the vote in the Senate and why the governor and lieutenant governor's agenda is transforming Virginia and why this race, therefore, will accelerate it. Your funds will go to work immediately, not next summer, not next spring, but tomorrow. Second of all, feet on the street matter. They matter the most when you can take those feet and go to groups that might not have heard. We just spent a few minutes in the other room talking about getting to every house of worship that we can find. Every Christian church, particularly those churches that might be filled with folks from different backgrounds. The Asian community, particularly. What an opportunity for us to have a senator who represents faith and family and hard work and commitment. That is what a Christian community wants. The Muslim community, who wants a senator who will stand up for their ability to educate their children with values consistent with their beliefs, as opposed to being told that they have to think this way, as opposed to teaching children how to think. The Indian community, who cares so deeply about excellence in schools and not a watered-down curriculum that is enabling our children to graduate with suboptimal reading capabilities and math capabilities to the point where they can't take these jobs that are so extraordinary that are being created all over the Commonwealth. This is our opportunity to truly be the grassroots army that can convince people to go to the polls and cast a ballot and shock Loudoun County by electing the right senator as opposed to the wrong one. That's our challenge. That's the work we have to do. And the good thing is we only have to sign up to do this work over the course of the next really 3 weeks. That's it. 3 weeks. Okay, we can take Christmas off. Is that okay here? He's got 10 services on Christmas. That is our opportunity. And that's why it's so important for us to tonight come together not just as financial support, not just as prayer support, but to come together and commit that we're going to do the work. We're going to do the work. And that's why when you stand together on Tuesday, January the 7th, we have a chance to change the political landscape of the entire Commonwealth of Virginia with one special election. I just want to make it clear that everybody understands why. Today, our Senate is 19. And with her win, it goes 2020. And every single one of those bad bills that they try to send through, a lieutenant governor can kill. Every one of those great bills that otherwise would die, she can sign. I will tell you, out of all of the 8.7 million people that live in the Commonwealth of Virginia, there is no single person that I would rather have that opportunity and responsibility than Winsome Earl. To my thank you for your willingness to step forward. And with that, I will present to you the next senator of the 32nd District of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Tumai Harding.